Welcome to Delightful and Delicious. My name is Stephanie and I am so glad that you are here. If this is your first time joining us, please take a couple of seconds, hit that subscribe button and notification bell right down below. Today we are going to be making one of my favorites, oxtail stew, but I'm doing it a little bit different today so that I am not slaving over a stove, watching a pot all day long. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so what I have here are 5 pounds of oxtails that I have washed and trimmed some of the fat from. Now, contrary to the name, oxtails are actually from a cow. You can click my link down below and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Anyway, to this I am going to add some cayenne pepper, black pepper, some onion powder, garlic powder, and a good all-purpose seasoning salt. You guys know that I like to use Tony Chachere's, but you use whatever you like. You're then just gonna get in there, mix that up. After you have seasoned your meat, you then just want to take a large Ziploc bag. This is a 2 gallon. You wanna pop those in the bag. And then we are going to take what's called browning seasoning. And we're just gonna pour 2 to 3 tablespoons in there. This is going to give you a little bit of flavor and a good color on your oxtails. You want to close that bag up nice and tight. And now we're just going to mix those up. And by the way, you guys, you normally can find your browning seasoning like on an international aisle, or if you have a Caribbean aisle in your grocery store. That's typically where that's going to be. And now that we have these all nice and seasoned, we're gonna pop these in our refrigerator for at least an hour. Go out, clean up something, find something else to do while these guys are getting all nice and yummy, and I'll meet you back here. I am back. My oxtails have been marinating in the refrigerator for a couple of hours while I was out. I've taken them out. I'm letting them come to room temperature, and so here is where this oxtail stew is different than the other ones that I normally do. We're gonna cook it in our pressure cooker so that we are not in the kitchen all day long, because nobody has time for that. So what we're gonna do, you're just gonna turn your pressure cooker on saute, whichever pressure cooker you have, and then we're going to add in some oil, and I am just going to start adding in my oxtails in batches and letting them saute and brown on all sides. Make sure that you don't add too many to the pot, because then your oxtails aren't gonna brown, they're gonna steam, and that's not what we're going for. Now, this is my last batch of oxtails. Remember, we browned them on all sides for just a few minutes. The purpose here is not to cook them through, it's just to brown them and get a depth of flavor from your oxtails. So we're gonna remove those from our pot. Make sure that you have reserved your marinade, because we're gonna use that a little bit later. Now we're gonna add in 1 large onion and about 5 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up. We're gonna saute these up until they are nice and translucent and sweet. Now, as you're sauteing your onions and your garlic, make sure that you are scraping up all those yummy brown bits from the bottom of your pot. That's just gonna add to the flavor. Our onions and garlic are all nice and yummy. We are going to add our oxtails back to the pot. And we're also going to add in the rest of the marinade. Remember, I said reserve that marinade because we were gonna use it. So we're gonna add that in. We are also going to add in beef stock. Now in here I have some paprika, some smoked sea salt, some parsley, as well as some allspice. And we're just gonna add that to our pot. We're also gonna add some Worcestershire sauce. And if you like it spicy like I do, I'm going to add a good pepper sauce. This is a scorpion pepper sauce. You absolutely do not have to do this. This is optional. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of this. We're gonna get this mixed up. We're gonna put our lid on. Make sure you have it set to seal. And we're gonna let this come up to pressure and let it cook for 30 minutes. All right, now our oxtails have cooked for 30 minutes in our Instapot, so that's done. We're just going to let this timer count up for 20 minutes, so just leave this alone for 20 minutes and then we'll come back and show you what we do next. So now our timer has done its countdown up to about 20 minutes. We are going to release the pressure, the remaining pressure that's in there. Be sure that you do this away from you because this is super hot. Now for our final steps, we're going to add in some spring onions, some carrots, some bell pepper, just a bunch of thyme, and a few bay leaves. We're also going to add in some butter beans and some diced tomatoes, a can of diced tomatoes. You want to stir that around in there. Just make sure you get it all down in there real good. We're then going to take our lid, put it back on our Instapot or whatever pressure cooker you're using. We're going to make sure that our valve is turned to sealed. Then put this on 15 minutes, pressure cook for 15 minutes. And then we'll come back to finish this up. Alrighty then, so remember we added in our vegetables, we let those cook for 15 minutes, and then I let the steam naturally release for 15 minutes and then vented the pressure cooker, and we are all done. So, look at that. This is just bubbly goodness and pure satisfaction. I'm gonna get a little bit of my oxtail here. We're going to put a little bit of chopped green scallions on it. Now, when I normally do this in either if I stew it on the stove or if I braise it in my oven, it normally takes me about 3 hours because you want that meat and everything to cook down and mesh together really well. Your pressure cooker is gonna do that in half the time. Make sure that you remove your bay leaves and your thyme. I have some nice fluffy white rice with this. So let's go ahead and get a taste here. You can see these are just tender. I don't need a knife, just fall off the bone goodness. Child, I'm trying to tell you, this is so good. The vegetables are cooked perfectly. The meat is tender. This is absolutely fantastic. So, all of the ingredients are gonna be listed down below. All of the ingredients and directions will be on our website, as always, at delightfulanddelicious.com. Be sure that you thumbs up this video and share it. And until next time, make sure whenever you're in the kitchen, you are keeping it delightful and delicious. Bye guys.